My fellow Americans,
Where am I going? Where the hell am I going? I want to get out. Oh.
President Joe Biden says he is stepping down.
In a bombshell announcement that's shaking the foundations of American politics, President Joe Biden has stepped down from his re-election campaign. What could have driven this shocking decision? What does it mean for the Democratic Party and the nation? Prepare for a journey through the corridors of power where ambition, strategy, and the fate of a nation hang in the balance. The political landscape is shifting before our eyes, and nothing will ever be the same. Number 1. The shocking announcement.
President Joe Biden says he is stepping down.
On a Sunday afternoon at 1:45 p.m., President Joe Biden's campaign account on X, formerly known as Twitter, posted an unexpected announcement. Biden was ending his bid for re-election. This decision came as a surprise to the political world, as Biden had been insisting on continuing his campaign despite growing pressure from within the Democratic Party. Earlier that same day, Biden had assured his senior aides that the campaign was proceeding full steam ahead. However, by evening, following intense discussions with his closest advisors, Steve Ricchetti and Mike Donnellan, Biden made the decision to step down. This abrupt reversal sent shockwaves through the political community, altering the course of the Democratic campaign and highlighting the underlying tensions within Biden's administration. The announcement instantly changed the narrative surrounding Biden and caught many in the political sphere off guard, setting the stage for a significant shift in the upcoming election landscape. Number 2. Immediate reactions. The news of Biden's decision triggered swift and intense reactions across the political spectrum. Former President Donald Trump quickly capitalized on the announcement, taking to social media to criticize Biden and the Democratic Party. Trump accused the Democrats of covering up concerns about Biden's age and health, stating, "Crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve and never was." Republican leaders echoed Trump's sentiments, with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson emphasizing that if Biden was unfit to run for president, he was equally unfit to serve as president. This narrative became a focal point for Republican strategy as they redirected their campaign efforts towards Vice President Kamala Harris, whom Biden had endorsed as his successor. On the Democratic side, reactions were mixed, with prominent figures expressing gratitude for Biden's service while quickly rallying around Harris. The party faced the immediate challenge of adjusting their campaign strategies, messaging, and voter outreach efforts in light of this sudden change in leadership. Number 3. Biden's decision process. President Biden's decision to end his re-election campaign was the result of a complex and emotionally charged process spanning over 3 weeks. Initially, Biden resisted growing calls from Democratic lawmakers, donors, and party elders to step aside. However, his closest advisors, Steve Ricchetti and Mike Donnellan, presented him with increasingly concerning data, including internal polling showing Biden trailing in key swing states, reports of slowing fundraising efforts, and growing dissatisfaction among influential party members. Concerns about Biden's age and health also played a significant role in the deliberations. A pivotal moment came during a private conversation with First Lady Jill Biden, who emphasized the importance of preserving his dignity and legacy. This discussion, coupled with the mounting political pressures, led Biden to a weekend of intense reflection. On Saturday evening, Biden gathered a small group of his closest aides and family members to inform them of his decision to end his re-election bid. The following day, the announcement was made public, marking a significant turning point in the Democratic Party's approach to the 2024 presidential election. Number 4. Trump's criticism.
Where am I going? Where the hell am I going? I want to get out. Oh.
Following Biden's announcement, former President Donald Trump launched a series of sharp criticisms against Biden and the Democratic Party. Trump accused the Democrats of being aware of Biden's unfitness for office all along, alleging a cover-up of his declining health and cognitive abilities. Trump's statements, echoed by prominent Republican figures, reinforced their narrative that Biden's presidency was fundamentally flawed from the start. Trump took to social media and public statements to emphasize his belief that Biden's stepping down was not a voluntary decision, but rather the result of internal Democratic pressures and an acknowledgement of Biden's incapacity. This line of attack was designed to undermine the credibility of the Democratic Party, suggesting that they had knowingly nominated an unfit candidate in 2020. Trump's rhetoric aimed to sow doubt among voters about the judgment and integrity of Democratic leadership, setting the stage for a contentious election campaign focused on questions of competence and transparency. Number 5. Kamala Harris in focus. With Biden's endorsement, Vice President Kamala Harris quickly became the new Democratic frontrunner for the 2024 presidential election. Harris, who had been serving as vice president since January 2021, now faced the challenge of stepping into Biden's role and leading the Democratic campaign. Her background as a former senator and attorney general of California, combined with her experience as vice president, provided a foundation for her candidacy. Harris immediately began retooling her campaign strategy, focusing on continuity and progress. She emphasized the achievements of the Biden-Harris administration while also promising new initiatives and a fresh perspective. Harris worked to consolidate support within the Democratic Party, reaching out to key stakeholders, including influential lawmakers, donors, and grassroots activists. Public reaction to Harris as the new frontrunner was mixed, with many Democrats rallying around her, while others expressed skepticism about her ability to unify the party and appeal to swing voters. Harris's campaign focused on leveraging her historic candidacy as the first woman of color to potentially lead a major party's presidential ticket, using this narrative to energize the Democratic base and attract new supporters. Number 6. Republican strategy. The Republican Party swiftly adapted its strategy in response to Biden's withdrawal and Harris's ascension as the Democratic frontrunner. The GOP redirected its focus towards Kamala Harris, seeking to exploit her perceived vulnerabilities and portray her as a continuation of what they termed the failed policies of the Biden administration. Republican campaign ads and messaging targeted Harris's record, scrutinizing her decisions as Attorney General of California and her tenure as Vice President. The party aimed to create a narrative that Harris was too liberal for mainstream America, attempting to alienate moderate and independent voters. Simultaneously, the Republican Party worked to strengthen its own candidate's position, with Donald Trump, the leading contender for the GOP nomination, adjusting his campaign to reflect the new dynamics. Trump intensified his rallies, emphasizing law and order, economic growth, and a return to what he called American greatness. The Republican National Committee, RNC, also ramped up its fundraising efforts, capitalizing on the new political landscape to mobilize their base and attract swing voters disillusioned with the Democratic shift. Number 7. Democrat reactions. The Democratic Party's response to Biden's announcement was a mixture of surprise, support, and rapid strategic adjustments. Prominent Democratic leaders, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, publicly praised Biden for his service and decision, highlighting his contributions and accomplishments during his presidency. Behind the scenes, however, the party scrambled to reorganize. Campaign committees and Democratic National Committee (DNC) officials held emergency meetings to strategize around Kamala Harris's campaign. There was a concerted effort to unify the party and ensure a seamless transition of support from Biden to Harris. Democratic operatives reached out to key donors and influential figures to rally behind Harris and reassure them of the party's stability and readiness for the upcoming election. The party also initiated efforts to address concerns about Harris's electability and to bolster her public image, crafting a refined campaign message that emphasized her achievements, experience, and vision for the future. Number 8. The fundraising game. The fundraising landscape shifted dramatically following Biden's announcement. The Democratic Party, now rallying behind Kamala Harris, needed to ensure that their financial support remained strong. High-profile donors and fundraising committees were quickly mobilized to contribute to Harris's campaign. Fundraising events were organized, and digital fundraising efforts were intensified to reach a wider audience. Harris's campaign team focused on leveraging her historic candidacy to energize the Democratic base and attract new donors excited about the prospect of breaking new ground in American politics. On the Republican side, the announcement triggered a surge in fundraising activity. The GOP saw an opportunity to capitalize on the perceived vulnerabilities of the Democrats and galvanize their base. Republican donors, energized by the prospect of a Harris candidacy, increased their contributions. The Republican National Committee, RNC, launched aggressive fundraising campaigns emphasizing the need to defeat Harris and prevent a continuation of Biden's policies. Number 9, the final straw.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
The decision for Biden to step down was the culmination of several critical factors. Over the course of several weeks, Biden faced increasing pressure from within his party. Key Democratic lawmakers and influential donors expressed their concerns privately, urging him to reconsider his re-election bid. They cited various factors, including Biden's age, health concerns, and the need for fresh leadership to energize the base and appeal to a broader electorate. The turning point came when Biden received new polling data that showed him trailing in critical swing states. This data, coupled with reports of slowing fundraising efforts, painted a grim picture of his re-election prospects. Party elders, including former President Barack Obama, discreetly conveyed their views, emphasizing the importance of the Democratic Party's chances in the 2024 election. Personal factors also played a significant role, with First Lady Jill Biden expressing concern about her husband's well-being and legacy. The combination of internal party pressure, dismal polling data, and personal considerations ultimately led Biden to conclude that stepping down was the best course of action for both himself and the party. Number 10. Biden's health concerns. Throughout Biden's presidency, concerns about his health and age had been a recurring topic of discussion. At 81 years old, Biden was the oldest president in U.S. history, raising questions about his physical and cognitive fitness for a second term. Despite reassurances and medical reports declaring him fit to serve, public perception and political opponents continued to scrutinize his health. In the weeks leading up to his decision to step down, these concerns intensified. There were instances during public appearances where Biden appeared fatigued or stumbled over his words, fueling speculation about his ability to endure the rigors of a demanding campaign and another 4 years in office. Media outlets amplified these incidents, often highlighting them in headlines and news segments. Number 11. The swing state polls. Polling data from key swing states played a pivotal role in Biden's decision to end his re-election bid. States such as Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Florida, which had been crucial to his 2020 victory, showed troubling trends. Internal polls indicated that Biden was losing ground to his Republican challengers, particularly to Donald Trump. These swing states revealed significant voter dissatisfaction with Biden's performance on issues such as inflation, immigration, and crime. Many voters felt that Biden's administration had not effectively addressed these concerns. Additionally, there was a sense of fatigue among some Democratic voters who were seeking fresh leadership and new energy within the party. The internal polling data was presented to Biden by his advisors, Steve Ricchetti and Mike Donnellan, in a series of meetings. The numbers painted a stark picture. Unless there was a dramatic turnaround, Biden's chances of winning these crucial states were slim. This data was corroborated by external polls from reputable organizations, further solidifying the grim outlook for Biden's re-election prospects. Number 12. Pelosi's role. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi played a significant behind-the-scenes role in influencing Biden's decision. As one of the most powerful and influential figures in the Democratic Party, Pelosi had been quietly lobbying for Biden to reconsider his re-election bid for several months. She had numerous private conversations with Democratic leaders, donors, and even Biden himself, expressing her concerns about his viability as a candidate. Pelosi's arguments were pragmatic. The party needed a candidate who could energize the base, appeal to swing voters, and withstand the rigors of a presidential campaign. Number 13, the internal divide. The internal divide within the Democratic Party was a significant factor in Biden's decision to step down. As pressure mounted from various factions within the party, it became clear that there were deep-seated concerns about Biden's re-election bid. Progressive leaders and younger Democrats were particularly vocal in their calls for new leadership, arguing that the party needed a fresh, dynamic candidate to energize voters and compete effectively against the Republicans. Moderate Democrats, while more supportive of Biden, were also beginning to question his viability. They were worried about his polling numbers, fundraising challenges, and the perception of his age and health. This divide was not just about Biden's candidacy, but also about the future direction of the party. Number 14. Biden's emotional goodbye. The emotional weight of Biden's decision to step down was profound. Having dedicated his life to public service, Biden's announcement marked the end of a significant chapter in his career. In the days leading up to the public announcement, Biden spent time reflecting on his journey, his accomplishments, and the challenges he faced. In an emotional meeting with his closest aides and family members, Biden shared his thoughts and feelings about stepping down. He spoke about the difficult moments of his presidency, the victories, and the moments of doubt. His family, particularly Jill Biden, provided unwavering support, emphasizing the importance of his health and legacy. The announcement itself was carefully crafted to convey both humility and gratitude. Biden's speech highlighted his commitment to the country, his pride in the administration's achievements, and his confidence in Kamala Harris's ability to lead the party forward. He thanked his supporters, staff, and family, expressing deep appreciation for their dedication and hard work. Biden's emotional farewell was met with a wave of reactions from across the political spectrum. Supporters praised his decision as selfless and courageous, while opponents saw it as an inevitable outcome, given the circumstances. Number 15. Harris takes the lead. With Biden stepping down, Kamala Harris officially took the lead as the Democratic nominee for the 2024 presidential election. This marked a historic moment, as Harris became the first woman of color to lead a major party's presidential ticket. The transition was swift, with Harris's campaign team quickly shifting gears to build momentum and establish her as the front-runner. Harris's campaign strategy focused on continuity and progress. She emphasized the achievements of the Biden-Harris administration, such as the American Rescue Plan, infrastructure investments, and efforts to combat climate change. At the same time, she introduced new policy initiatives aimed at addressing the concerns of both progressives and moderates. These included comprehensive healthcare reform, criminal justice reform, and economic policies designed to reduce inequality and support working families. To solidify her position, Harris embarked on a nationwide tour, engaging with voters in key battleground states and rallying support from diverse communities. Her campaign team worked tirelessly to rebrand and reposition her as a strong, capable leader ready to take on the challenges ahead. Number 16. The media frenzy. The media response to Joe Biden's decision and Kamala Harris's rise was intense and immediate. News outlets across the political spectrum scrambled to cover the breaking story, analyzing every detail and speculating on the implications for the upcoming election. Conservative media outlets seized the opportunity to criticize Biden and the Democratic Party. They highlighted the health and age concerns that had plagued Biden's presidency and portrayed his decision to step down as a sign of weakness. These outlets also scrutinized Harris's record, questioning her experience and suitability for the presidency. Liberal and mainstream media outlets took a more nuanced approach, balancing the coverage of Biden's legacy with the historic nature of Harris's candidacy. They emphasized Biden's accomplishments and framed his decision as a selfless act in the best interest of the party and the nation. Harris was portrayed as a trailblazer, with many commentators highlighting the significance of her potential to become the first female president of color. Number 17. Republican attack ads. The Republican Party swiftly launched a series of attack ads targeting Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. These ads were designed to exploit perceived weaknesses and create a narrative of Democratic incompetence and instability. One major theme was Harris's record as California's Attorney General and her tenure as Vice President. The ads scrutinized her decisions and policies, painting them as overly liberal and out of touch with mainstream American values. They highlighted controversial cases and decisions, aiming to create a perception of Harris as a radical figure who would push the country too far to the left. Another focus was on the broader Democratic agenda. The ads criticized Democratic policies on healthcare, immigration, and the economy, suggesting that a Harris presidency would lead to higher taxes, increased government control, and weakened national security. The attack ads also capitalized on Biden's decision to step down, framing it as evidence of Democratic failure and disarray. Number 18. Harris's counterattack. In response to the Republican attacks, Kamala Harris and her campaign team launched a vigorous counterattack. They sought to counter the negative narratives and highlight Harris's strengths, accomplishments, and vision for the future. The counterattack strategy involved a multifaceted approach, leveraging media appearances, campaign rallies, and strategic messaging. Harris's team produced a series of positive ads that emphasized her qualifications, experience, and policy achievements. These ads highlighted her work as Attorney General of California, where she implemented reforms and fought for justice. They also showcased her tenure as Vice President, focusing on her role in the Biden administration's successes, such as the American Rescue Plan and infrastructure investments. The campaign also emphasized Harris's personal story, portraying her as a relatable and inspiring figure. Ads and speeches highlighted her background, her rise through the political ranks, and her commitment to fighting for ordinary Americans. Number 19. Key endorsements. As Kamala Harris's campaign gained momentum, securing key endorsements became a crucial part of the strategy. High-profile endorsements from influential figures within the Democratic Party and beyond were essential for legitimizing her candidacy and consolidating support. Former President Barack Obama was one of the first to publicly endorse Harris, praising her leadership and experience and emphasizing her readiness to lead the country. His endorsement carried significant weight given his popularity within the party and his role as a unifying figure. Other prominent Democrats followed suit, including former First Lady Michelle Obama, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Each endorsement was strategically timed and accompanied by public appearances, speeches, and social media campaigns. Beyond political figures, Harris also garnered support from influential community leaders, activists, and celebrities. Number 20. The road ahead. With the primary season approaching, Kamala Harris's campaign is in full swing, focusing on securing the Democratic nomination and preparing for the general election. Key priorities include maintaining party unity, appealing to swing voters, and addressing critical issues such as healthcare, the economy, and climate change. What do you think is the real reason for Biden's decision? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it.